On this episode of YEG Matters, inside the Hope Mission.
Call for here for 911. 24/7, we need a stat in the main hallway.
Thanks for joining us here on YEG Matters. In last week's episode, we went on a ride along with the Hope Mission rescue team. Today, we are taking you inside the shelter, which has become a place of refuge for those who are hungry and homeless.
It's supper time at the Hope Mission, which is the busiest part of intake supervisor Dolores Nataway's day. As 400 people make their way in for a warm meal, she's responsible for making sure everything runs smoothly tonight.
How you doing, Curtis?
Okay.
Yeah?
We try to keep a safe place with love, with understanding, with zero judgment. Anybody from any walks of life can find their way down to the Hope Mission needing services.
Okay, right now we're standing in the meal line. It's kind of like the waiting area to be served a meal.
Well, it's a place to grab something to eat, like a good meal, healthy meal.
For this place, it's like a stepping stone. It's to get to the next mountain.
Good, how are you doing tonight?
We're doing good. My family has a long history of alcoholism. I remember drinking my first beer when I was about 11 years old, and at that point I was hooked. Was kind of not cautious enough and let wrong individuals into my life, thinking that that was the answer. And eventually lost my job, lost my home, lost my car, lost everything. Ended up with a pack sack full of stuff, living on 118th at that time. One day, feeling absolutely broken, just decided to give life a chance. Because the night before, it was kind of my birthday. And just didn't want to go on. So I just tried to commit suicide at that time. Consumed a whole lot of alcohol, consumed a whole lot of pills. And looking at it now, I should have passed that night. But the next morning, I woke up with amazement. It's emotional because that's the day that my life totally turned around.
We'll talk about it later if you have any questions.
The Hope Mission became Dolores' safe haven.
The individuals who were working at the time didn't look down on my situation, definitely didn't look down on me, and so it gave me that hope that at least I had someplace to go. So this kind of became my home.
Determined to turn her life around, Dolores went through the mission's one-year recovery program.
4 years now I've been clean and sober. If I didn't have a full year to really establish a foundation and look at myself, I probably wouldn't have made it. I did wake up one day and things did look different. Things were a little clearer.
Call for here for 911. 24/7, we need a stat in the main hallway.
As a frontline worker, Dolores' safety is always at risk.
Okay, the one in the plaid.
Some of these people, they've lived a life of abuse, dysfunction, turning to drugs and alcohol, and those habits and lifestyle has to be changed, and it takes time.
There was an assault on one of the guests as we're serving meals. He has facial lacerations.
That's the mentality of somebody coming from my situation is we look at ourselves and we think that there's nothing that we can do, that we can possibly do right, that everything we do kind of crumbles and never is able to grow.
After supper ends, staff clean up and move the tables so they can put mats out for those coming to sleep at the shelter tonight.
Unfortunately, due to lack of blankets, we're only able to give each person one blanket.
Dolores and her team lay down over 200 mats on the main floor.
Being able to come in on a daily basis and look over that sea of blue and see those people's faces, it hits you really hard, knowing that you were there once and you can also be there again.
As an intake supervisor, Dolores is not only responsible for the operations within the shelter, she also works throughout the day in the mission's 24/7 Intox Center.
24/7 is a place where intoxicated people are taken to sober up. On top of providing a safe facility for people to detox, the center also has a recovery program for addicts that want to change their lifestyle.
Last week, I took my son and his mother out for dinner and had promised him that I was going to quit and try and better my life, and he was happy because, you know, I haven't seen him in quite some time, you know.
And how old's your son now?
He's 9.
It's having strong boundaries, having the supports you need in place, because we're all in it together. We need goals to set up.
Goals,
You know, your first goal is coming in here, seeking help.
Seeking help.
There was a gentleman a couple of weeks back that we were working on for quite a while, and we just got a report recently that I guess he won't be coming back because he has passed now, and he was scheduled for treatment. I care deeply for them, and it breaks my heart when I find out that one of them is never coming back, and especially over a silly thing like drugs and alcohol. What's the phone number for quick turns? But when you're walking down the street and you actually see somebody come up to you and go thank you and give you a huge hug because you took the time to just sit there and listen to them, or took the time to fill out an application, or just took the time to pray with them, that's why I work here. The people I serve, to me, they're family. I know what they're going through, and if I can sit at this end now and help them get to their next purpose in life, then it's worth it.
The Hope Mission is always looking for volunteers as well as donations. For more information, visit hopemission.com. Also, if you're interested in today's episode, please join the conversation on Twitter using the hashtag YEG Matters. I'm Cheryl Tasascu. Thanks for watching, Edmonton.